All right, everybody, welcome back to PAPO FLUENTE podcast. One more time, I promised you guys that I would record one new episode every single week until the end of the year. And here I am again, and I'm not alone. And not only that, I have a very special guest with me. Teacher Laura Alves, how are you today?
Thank you so much for this invitation. It's a pleasure being here with you. It has been a while since we last talked, and I'm really excited about this live, about this episode. And here we go.
Right. So thanks for being here. The pleasure is all mine. And guys, if you guys don't know that, Laura, she was in the podcast before, uh, but it was a while ago. We were talking about that before we started here. We are not sure if it was like 4 years or 3 years ago, but it's been a while. But the thing is, she's back. She's back. And Laura, for people who don't know you, would you mind introducing yourself, telling a little bit about you, where you're from, what you do? So, just a quick introduction.
Of course, Alan. First of all, I need to tell you that I'm really happy to have you back because I think everybody from Instagram have missed you because we don't have we didn't have the memes anymore, we didn't have the posts, so uh, you are important and we need you on Instagram. Okay, so
All right.
I I don't want you to leave anymore, okay? Please don't leave us. Stay on Instagram and on Spotify and in the episodes forever, okay? We need you.
All right. You're so kind. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. So, I'm Laura. I'm from a small city in Mato Grosso do Sul called São Gabriel do Oeste.
Right.
And I was born here. I am 30 years old. And I've been a teacher since when I was 18, and
Okay.
I started cleaning an English school. So that's my story.
Yeah.
Um, when I was finishing high school, I didn't have conditions to live in another city, and then I had to stay here and find a job. But
Hmm.
in small cities, that's so hard. And I started finding, and it wasn't possible. Started looking for it. And my aunt, she worked at this woman's house.
Yeah.
She was the owner of this English school, and
Hmm.
she called me. My aunt called me. Hey, are you interested in cleaning an English school? They are searching. They are looking for someone who can do this, and you can make it 300 reais a month,
Wow.
and 300 reais for a teenager. For a 18 years old teenager is like, wow, a lot of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
I thought, of course I'm in. And then I accepted the challenge. But the thing is that I was supposed to wake up at 4 a.m. because the school had to be all cleaned by 8 a.m. And
Hmm.
then I had to make coffee, tea, and clean everything. Anyways, I decided and I started working there. With this 300 reais, I could buy my stuff. And after that, I've been promoted. So like
Hmm.
I became the secretary of the
Good.
that school. And I continued studying English because I always loved English. And I got like a scholarship in
Yeah.
that school. I continued studying, and when I was in the front desk and I was working, I used to help the students who were
Hmm.
doing the homeworks. And
Yeah.
I like that because I've been always so patient, and I like that kind of job and teach and help. And because of that, I saw myself teaching. In a few months I was doing an internship in that school,
Hmm.
and then my profession chose me. And
Wow.
I've been doing the same thing for 12 years already. But last year, I decided to open my own school. And nowadays, I'm not alone anymore. And I
Yeah.
have five more teachers working with me at English Superpowers. So if you don't know, check it out on Instagram because our mission is develop student superpowers, in English. And we
Wow.
love what we do, and I've been working through Instagram, through the internet since 2019. And
Yeah.
that's a little about me.
Wow. I wouldn't say that was a little about you guys. I don't know about you, but I'm amazed by this story. Come on, Laura. So I don't know. I almost have no words to describe how amazed I am by your life story. I heard that before, like the first time we talk. The episode is in Portuguese, guys, because I used to have the episodes in Portuguese, but now we are recording episodes 100% in English. But listening to this story again and just looking at you while you talk, like it's I believe it must be like a movie in your mind, right? When you remember, because you told us like real quick, but we know like it's not like a movie, right? Things take time to happen, right? So you started at the age of 18 cleaning the school, right?
Yeah.
And then every morning 4 a.m. preparing everything, cleaning all the classrooms, like making coffee with a smile in your face, right? And how was
Yeah.
the feeling about it?
Very, yes, like I lived in a very far neighborhood, very far from downtown. And I
Mm-hmm.
used to go by bike. It was kind
Bike.
of a 5 kilometers. But yeah, and imagine when it was cold
Oh my
in the
gosh.
very early in the morning, I had to go. Like I couldn't miss, and I can confess that those were hard times,
Yeah.
because we didn't have a car. My parents couldn't take me every day, and it doesn't matter if it was raining, if it was cold or hot. I should go. I was
Yeah.
supposed to go every morning because I've always been so committed to the things I'm into. And
Yeah.
since my first job, this was my very first job, and I'm very proud of that girl. Like when I look back, I can be proud of myself because if I didn't have that beginning, I think I wouldn't be the woman I am right now,
Yeah.
leading a school and being a businesswoman. And this is another challenge of my life right now. It's another level
Mm-hmm.
because dealing with people, leading, being in front of a business, it's much harder than cleaning a school,
Oh yeah.
but I'm very proud of that moment that where everything began, and we are here now. I have a team. I have amazing teachers. I'm so grateful for them. I can even describe because they have the same vibe, they are so kind, and we focus on conversations, natural conversations. We show them that it's not possible to be fluent in 3 months,
There you go.
and this is something that has connected us
Yeah.
because when I followed you for the first time about 4 years ago, uh, I remember you had this like this position like, guys, it's not possible to be fluent in 3 months, and I
Yeah.
totally
A little bit
believe that it's not.
annoying sometimes.
Yes, yes, it is, and then we have the Cherno teachers. I call them Cherno teachers. The over there,
That's a
uh,
good name.
showing. Yeah, I call them Cherno teachers because we see that they want to deceive people.
Oh
It's not
yeah.
possible. the prices are very low, and they say it's possible, like 29 reais you can be fluent, or you just need to study 3 minutes every day and you'll be
Mm-hmm.
fluent in 6 months. And when we receive these students who
Yeah.
had already bought those courses, they
Mm-hmm.
come to us completely frustrated.
Yeah.
And we have bunches of stories from people who have bought these courses, and the teacher promised conversation classes, and they didn't get that. They
Mm-hmm.
were supposed to schedule one conversation class for 2 months from now, for
Mm-hmm.
example, and they got completely frustrated. And then we start explaining. So it's not possible to be fluent in 3 months. You need to practice, you need to be here. If imagine if we teachers have to practice
Mm-hmm.
together in order not to forget what we have learned.
Oh
Imagine
yeah.
you guys. And so our job at English Superpowers is this: showing that only by practicing and real conversations, making mistakes, it's
Mm-hmm.
possible to get to the fluency. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's so great that we have such a school like yours, and some other teachers that have this, like this approach of not selling. I call it BS. It's BS, like selling those BS to people out there. Uh, there are some shortcuts we could take as teachers, or I don't know, influencers. We could simply say like a bunch of lies, as so many people do, and make a lot of money. But here's the thing, right? As you said, like, we're just like, are we serving people? Like, are we doing any good to people? I don't think so, right? So when you say like you were able to find teachers who have the same idea as you do and as I do, all right? Because we got connected, as you said. Oh, Alan, I saw a post from you saying it's impossible to be fluent in 3 months, and I mean, I was kind of annoying sometimes. I would say that so many times, like repeated and repeated that. So yeah. But it's just not possible, guys. It's just something that, as Laura just said, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes consistency, right? But tell us more about this approach that you use with your school, English Superpowers, right? English Superpower.
Yes, this is the name of our school, English Superpowers,
Yeah.
and this name was kind of, you know, by chance. We didn't choose this so
Okay.
much. Uh, but I must confess that I've already tried to launch a course.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried because this was one of my goals. I wanted to know how it was to have a course, and like in
Mm-hmm.
uh, an online product, etc. And then I started working on that very hard. I tried to find some partners to help me with that,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't so succeed because people were focused on money only.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I didn't feel so comfortable because of that. But after 2 or 3 years trying, I could do it. So
Mm-hmm.
I launched my first product, and the name of the course was English Superpowers.
Okay.
English Superpower was only the a name for a course. You know, and in the beginning, we could sell a lot of courses, and people got some months of classes. But when these months finished, like the contract ended, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't continue, and we like my partner and I. we didn't see the result. We didn't see the change in these people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then that got me really, really bad. Like, no, this is not what I want.
Yeah.
Then, when you want something so bad, and when you get there, you feel and you realize, oh, that's not what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And when I noticed these people weren't um, getting the English, they wanted to stop. And wow, what am I selling? I'm just being one
Yeah.
more, another teacher who just who sells courses.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped, and since 2019, I taught online and I worked at another school. But in 2022, I quit the previous job, and
Mm-hmm.
I sold my car, and I risked everything, So I'm going to sell my car. I'm not going back, and I must do this work no matter
Mm-hmm.
what. And then the first year was really, really tough. Like, in the end of 22, I quit the job. And so 2023, last year,
Mm-hmm.
everything started. And in July, exactly 1 year ago, during this vacation period, many people leave, or many people stop for a while. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have an organization, I didn't have a business. It was just me,
Mm-hmm.
myself, and I teaching
Okay.
alone, trying to, working from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And because of that, I don't know if when I talk to you, um, I think it was after that, I had a stroke. I got a stroke, so I've been hospitalized.
I remember seeing that.
So I think it
Yeah.
was after our first meeting, right? Our
Oh
first.
yeah, that was after. I remember sending you some messages like wishing
Yeah.
you like a good recovery. I wasn't active on Instagram, but sometimes I would follow posts,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure I saw your post and I messaged you like,
Yes. Yes.
yeah,
You have always been there. Thank you so much, Alan.
it's
You have
all
been
good. Come on,
good.
you also been there for me so many times.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, and it's nice because I love this friendship, because it doesn't
yeah,
matter what happened in our lives, we are there for each other. That's so good.
yeah. And we have never met in real, like a personal life, but we will for sure. Once I go to Brazil, I'll make sure I can visit you or you can visit me. Anyways, like we're gonna make it work.
Yes, we need to schedule that.
Yeah, or even if you wanna come to Canada, just let
Yes,
me know. Just
I've
let
been
me know.
I've been to Canada in 2015. Yes, I've been to Canada some years ago, and I wish I go back. I really wanna go back soon. I don't know when,
Okay,
but of course we need to meet for
let
sure.
me know. Let me
Yeah.
know. Okay, so you, sorry to interrupt you, but you were talking about that, like when you had a stroke and you were trying to make the business work.
Yeah, so it was a mess, in the middle of that. And I've been through very difficult financial situations.
Hmm.
And in my mind, I need to work hard, work a lot. And so in the middle of this, I had the stroke. It was like
Hmm.
God telling me, Laura, if you don't stop, I'll stop here. You know?
Wow, that's powerful.
Yes, yes, it is. And I remember the feeling, Alan. Like, it was such a painful headache
Hmm.
that I can't even describe. And then I've been hospitalized for almost 1 month,
Okay.
and I've been transferred to another city. And in the beginning, I didn't know what that was, because we didn't have the diagnosis. And
Okay.
yeah, when I arrived in Campo Grande, the neuroscientist, the neurodoctor, I think that's it. She came and she explained the situation. Like, Laura, you had a stroke because of COVID. You know,
Wow.
everything happened because of the COVID. Everybody
Hmm.
was getting some breath problems.
Yeah.
Like breathing problems.
Mm-hmm.
And then my problem was in my brain. So I had
Wow.
a stroke because of COVID, and it was like a bomb in my body.
Wow.
And I couldn't process that. Like, my goodness. And I was 27 years old, about.
Yeah.
I'm so young.
So young.
Why and how? I couldn't understand. But because of that, after this and after recovering, because during this you don't know if you're gonna survive. And
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I wanted was to go back and teach, and I was really afraid of forgetting English. Can you believe
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah.
My biggest fear was forgetting everything I knew in English, because
Mm-hmm.
English is my job, is everything
Yeah.
I know what to
Mm-hmm.
do.
It's your superpower.
It's yes, and I was so worried, like, my goodness, because I've lost parts of my memory. There are facts that I can't remember. Some
Wow.
recent facts before that I couldn't remember,
Hmm.
and I couldn't see very well. Like, my sight was completely, like, how can I say, blur?
Blur.
Yeah,
Okay.
like that. I couldn't see very well, and I was really afraid. I didn't know what was going to happen with me. And
Mm.
as you can see, I am completely well. I
You're great.
Yes, and I didn't have any sequels because of that. I'm pretty good. And because of that, after surviving this
Mm-hmm.
stroke, I was interested in studying neuroscience. It's
Mm-hmm.
so ironic, but I started getting interested in how does English get into our minds. I was, like, obsessed with that. I really wanted to know. And then I started studying neuroscience. And it was amazing because of that, I could create some methods, to teach better English, to show people how you can learn a second language, how the process is to
Mm-hmm.
get fluent, really fluent.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started searching, studying, and etc. And now, when I look back, I can link the dots and see that everything in life has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe your life, you are here because you have a mission. You are missing out on many things. And after that, like, nowadays, I can say that I'm closer to God that I've never been before. you
Wow.
know, and everything changed, Alan. Everything. And since last year, after all this mess, I decided I'm going to be a school, because I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do this alone anymore. I couldn't work from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. My body couldn't stand that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then I called some friends, some English teachers who have been studied English with me before in
Mm-hmm.
some teacher courses, and they accepted. Now we are in five teachers. We have Bruno, Grazi, Isadora, uh, Drika. Drika is
Mm-hmm.
from Czech Republic.
Wow.
Bruno and Grazi are from São Paulo. Isa
Nice.
too. And Amanda. Amanda is in the way of becoming a teacher
Mm-hmm.
because she was one of my first students.
Oh my goodness.
Amanda started from scratch. I started teaching her the alphabet, the numbers, and after 4 years, for almost 5 years, now she is helping some students and she's in the way to become an English teacher, to take her proficiency test. And like in the beginning, when I started teaching online, I was
Mm-hmm.
afraid because I didn't know if I would be able to teach someone and to make
Mm-hmm.
someone be like really fluent for
Mm-hmm.
for forever. And Amanda and some other students are accomplishing this, and this is so amazing. That's
Wow.
so good.
You are not only teaching, but you're also like making teachers, like helping like people to like find a profession. And it seems like she's following your steps, right? Like because you started like that, you start helping people, and then like you started teaching English. So it's amazing, Laura.
Yeah, and like Amanda, she's such an inspiration because she's so like a hard work student. She's so committed, and she has been to I think Chile, if I'm not sure, but she has traveled abroad last year for the first time, and she
Okay.
could speak English fluently. So this is so beautiful, and that's what we want for our students. That's what
Exactly.
we want. Our big mission is like making more Brazilians fluent and
That's it.
helping them to make their dreams come true, traveling to every country, traveling to Disney, whatever. But that's our big mission.
Yeah. Empower people, right? Like use English as a tool to empower people. Like, listen,
Yes.
this is actually a superpower that we can transfer to you, we can teach you, and you can use. Like, you can empower yourself, you can empower others around you, you can inspire others around you, right? So, yeah, that's great. Oh my goodness. Laura, what a story. So now you're running your school. Like basically you have five superheroes beside you helping you to teach English on the internet. As I said, guys, if you can follow English superpower or superpowers, English superpowers on Instagram, go check it out. Also, Teacher Laura Alves on Instagram. She's great. You guys, come on, look at this story, guys. All right. And you were mentioning you came to Canada in 2015, you said?
Yeah. It was my
And how
first.
was it? Tell me a little bit about it. Like how long you stayed here? How was the experience overall? Was it difficult for you? Because back in 2015, were you a teacher or a student?
I was already a teacher. I
Okay.
wasn't like I was teaching kids, teenagers, some beginners, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And to go to Canada, like going to Canada was really hard. I think every
Yeah.
part of my life is hard when I tell.
All
But
right.
yes, but going to Canada, when we study abroad, we don't have so much money. And everything I took with me to Canada, they were borrowed. So
Okay.
I borrowed everything. I borrowed the suitcase, I borrowed clothes, I borrowed sunglasses, I borrowed money,
Wow.
everything you can imagine because I knew that I wanted to go on this exchange program because
Okay.
in my mind I would make more money, I would be more recognized at work. I really believe that inside my heart, and I decided to go. Like it doesn't matter what, I'm going. And I started working. My boss back then lent me money, and because of that I had to work 2 or 3 years more to pay everything.
Wow.
And then I went to Canada 2015. I knew some people, but there we would stay in a host family,
Okay.
separate. And when I arrived there, I got lost in the first day because the school sent me the wrong address.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yes, the school gave me the wrong address. And it was funny because when we landed in Toronto, it was kind of 5 a.m. And then
Okay.
we couldn't go home. We were supposed to go to school directly.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, when we got to school, we had a test to do.
What? You arrived in Canada, you went from the airport straight to the school to take a test?
Yes, uh-huh.
What?
The driver was there waiting for us from the company, and we couldn't go to our host family because it was available only from 2 p.m. You know, we couldn't go
Okay.
in the morning, so they told us we're going to take you to this to school right now. And okay, we took our bags. When we got there, uh, the teachers received us and they said, okay, we need to do the uh, placement, right? The
Yeah.
placement test
Placement test. Yeah.
to know which level you are and which class you're gonna be and who you're gonna be with. And okay, so imagine after 14, I think 14 hours flying, you
Wow.
get to another country and you had to take a test. We took the test. After some hours, the school called us and said, okay, so this is your map, this is the address from your host family. Go, bye,
What
have
do
a
you
nice
mean this
day.
is your map? There wasn't like Google Maps or anything. It was like
So,
just a paper like here's your map.
well, a
Good
paper.
luck.
Exactly.
Oh
Yeah,
my
they gave
goodness,
us
Laura.
like a paper. And Alan, I didn't have money to have a good cell phone. I don't have many pictures from this trip because my
Okay.
cell phone, didn't have a good camera. The
Mhm.
battery was dying all the time,
Wow.
and we couldn't use the internet very often.
Yeah.
Um, and when you travel with people with like a better financial condition than you
Yeah.
see everybody purchasing new iPhones, new devices. And then I
Yeah.
looked at my cell phone and wow, I just have like everything borrowed and a dream. So that's what I had.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I took the paper. They said, here's the bus stop, there's the subway station. Okay, everybody went to their homes, but the school gave me the wrong address. And
Mhm.
then when I got to the address, it was a completely crazy place, like totally different from the real address. And then I started walking and asking for help.
Mhm.
But thank God I chose the best country because Canada is amazing. People were so kind, comparing to the States.
Mhm.
I think there's no comparison because Canada is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for that because if it were in the US, I wouldn't be able, to find help and get by.
Yeah.
And then I started asking for help, and people, oh, you take my cell phone, call to your host mom, let me see, let me help you. And then I was like, is that true? Is that really happening?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I found a police officer. I found a cop in a car, and that's what I say. Thank God I spoke English. You know,
Hmm.
English saves lives
Yeah.
for sure. English. If you go to a country and if you don't speak English, you're lost. You're
Yeah.
totally lost
Hmm.
because we never know what can happen to us. You know,
Hmm.
and I knocked the glass and I called him, explained the situation, showed the address. He was very kind. He put my bags inside his car. He took me to a McDonald's. He
Wow.
paid, yes, he paid me like his snack, a coffee. We were talking for hours. He called my host mom. She went there to pick me up, and
Wow.
it was like, wow, like just a big plot twist, you know? And I was really hungry because after 14 hours flying, taking a test, getting lost all day long, more than 20 hours without eating, without taking a shower, walking through the streets with a big suitcase, you know? And when I got there, my host mom was amazing. She called Anne. She was an old lady with a cat. Very
Okay.
kind, very kind. Oh my goodness. And the days were magic. I've learned so much. I've seen the most beautiful places like it that I couldn't even believe I was there. Made amazing friends. And if I can tell people to go on an exchange program, go to Canada, like
Hmm.
first country, because everything is so organized, everything works, everything is so clean, and I miss those days so much.
Hmm.
And I've been to the US as well.
Okay.
I went to Orlando in 2022. Then I
Hmm.
went to Disney, all the parks and etc. It was amazing as well. But you know, the approach,
Oh yeah.
people, Canada is amazing. So, and I think
Yeah.
that you can see this because you live there, right, Alan? Is that the
Yeah.
same? Like it? Was I right when I had this impression?
Yeah. I mean, I live in a small city,
Mm-hmm.
and I can say there are so many friendly people here. Like, you're right. And it's a shock initially because you are not so used to that, but once you, like, for example, I go to the bakery or I go to the grocery store or anywhere I go, people usually greet you. And it's not only like just hi, how are you. If you want to keep talking, they will talk to you like for hours if you keep talking to the cashier, for example. i I have to be honest, some days, because I can say I'm fluent in English, but I'm not fluent in small talk. You know, small talk, like that type of talk that, oh, how are you? I'm doing good, and I don't know what's the how is the weather today, or things like that. I don't know how to do that. It's a problem that I have. I like deep conversations. I really like to have. You know what I mean? Like, I have to talk to people and look at their eyes and have deep conversations. But like for small talk, I'm not so good. But yeah, people here are so friendly. I like that. But what I'm really impressed is like when you said like you met the cop and like he gave you like a good breakfast, and you probably shared the story like you said, oh, I just came from Brazil. I took a 14-hour flight, and then they took me to the school and I had to go through a test, and now I'm here lost. And he was like there for you, and that's, I can tell that's so Canadian. Like when they see you need something, they're there to help you. That's right. They're really kind. Yeah.
Huge curiosity to know a little about your story, like
Oh, my
because
story.
yeah, why and how? was this decision of going to Canada because you were here in Brazil, in São Paulo,
Yeah.
and suddenly we saw your stories on the snow, with
Yeah.
your kids, with your family.
Yeah.
How was this process like? What changed in your mind? Why have you decided to go to Canada?
All right, so excuse me, guys. Now I'm gonna share a little bit about my story. Okay, I know it's the podcast is about Laura, but I will try to keep it short and sweet. But yeah, it was actually a surprise for many people. But actually, for me and my wife, especially, we had planned that. It wasn't something that happened overnight. And that's the thing, right? People see Instagram and they see things on the internet and they think things happen overnight and easily, right? So, like you, for example, if a person just meet you today, they will say, "Oh, this is Laura, a businesswoman, so successful in what she does, a great English teacher." But when you listen to your story, come on, you started when you were 18, cleaning
Yeah.
the school, went through so many hardships, had a stroke, had so many hardships, and now you're there, right? So it wasn't overnight at all, right? And like for us moving to Canada, I would say like it always started with me because I lived in the US in 2012. So I moved to the US. Back then I was 22 and I was like this big dreamer, as you said. The only thing I had, and that's why I think we are so connected. Because when you are saying your story, I can see so many things that are similar, like so many things. Like you talking about money, like people having money to buy stuff, and you just like don't. And but anyways, and just a funny story. So when I moved to the US, my first day, I took a flight from Sao Paulo, and then we landed in Texas, Dallas, I think, for a 2 or 3 hours connection, and then we took another flight to Reno, Nevada, and then we took a road trip, a 1 hour and a half road trip to Susanville, the city that I was going to live. And once we got there, because I moved to the US to study in a college and play soccer, right? So I got a scholarship to play soccer in a American college. So once we got there, we didn't have a house to stay. First of all, we didn't have a place to stay because we are all soccer players coming from different parts of the US and from the world. So it was like with me four Brazilians, and there were people from England, there were people from Mexico, there were people from Spain, and the coach, they made us like those big promises. Oh guys, you come here, you're gonna have all the structure, you're gonna have a good house to stay. And when we got there, there was one house and we had to share, like imagine like 15 guys sharing one house.
My
But
goodness.
anyways, we got there and the coach said, okay guys, so the thing is you're gonna take your bags and your stuff to the house, and then we're gonna have practice. Like now you guys have practice. So imagine I took like two flights.
No
I
way.
I took a road trip and I got in Susanville like so drained, so like ah. And he said, no, now we're gonna practice. And then we had to like play soccer for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, whatever, and had a practice, right? But anyways, that wasn't the question, but just
Okay.
something that I can see some connections between us.
Mm.
But yeah, so I lived in the US for a while, decided to come back to Brazil. So like my wife at that time was my girlfriend, so we had this distance relationship. Like she was in Brazil, I was in the US, but once I got back in Brazil, like 3 months after that, she got pregnant. Like we said, oh, now we're gonna have a kid. So what I'm gonna do now? So then life start happening, right? So I started working as an English teacher. So we had our daughter. 3 years later, we had our son. But I always had this dream in my heart. So I need to finish that because I went to the U.S. I studied in a college for 1 year and a half. I couldn't finish that. Soccer wasn't like something that happened for me. Unfortunately, I had the dream, but it didn't happen. It's okay. Life is like that. But then I had this dream, I said, no, I need to go back and finish what I started. And then I started looking for options, right? So the US was an option, but unfortunately, if you go to the US with your family, it's not that easy, right? Because, for example, if I go to the US as a student, my wife cannot work. My kids can study, but they don't have like the same access. So then I started looking for places that could be good for a family, like for my family. And then Canada was a good place because coming to Canada, my wife could get a job, so she would get a work visa. My kids would go to school for free, and so that's why we chose Canada. Like Canada was the best option for us, and then we decided to move. But then we started planning back in 2018, and we moved here in 2021. So guys, it took 3 years to get here, right? So it was a long process. So that was the story, right? So because of me, I had this dream, so I had to convince my wife, and she bought it. She said, "Okay, you want to
Go.
do it? Let's do it." And then we found a good place for our family, and then we moved here, and here we are. Like in September, we make 3 years in Canada. So that
Fantastic.
was the
Yeah.
story.
You have such an inspiring story as well,
Hmm.
and it's so good because I would love to live in Canada. I think I would choose Canada as well because when we visit, these neighbor countries, Canada and US, we see that there are many differences, and Canada is so suitable, like wonderful. I miss
Yeah.
Canada so much. So maybe we can visit you and your
Come
family soon.
on, you'll be so welcome, and your
Yeah.
future husband as well, because I know you're getting married pretty soon, right? That's great. That's great.
Yes,
It-
it's another dream, that I
of
never
course.
imagined that this could happen, that I would leave this one day, and life and God has been so amazing for me,
Yeah.
many good things that I cannot complain. Only blessings. That's it.
And that's great. Yeah. So my doors are open. So when you guys want to come and visit, and if you decide in the future, like maybe living here, I don't know, we never know, right? So
Yeah.
I can tell you that we need people like you here. To be honest, like people that are willing to make a difference, people that are hard workers, people that like have abilities and skills that are important and can help others. So this is the most important thing, right? So this is something that I always think for myself, like how the skills that I have today can be helpful to people. How can I help people with the skills that I have, right? So as you said, hey Alan, please come back. We need you on Instagram. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. It's not easy because I have like so many ideas, like a million ideas, and it's so hard to execute on the ideas. But I find doing this podcast right now, it's something that can help people, and that's what I'm doing, right?
Of course, because you can post the reels. And I totally know what you're talking about because I've been through this process that I've been trying to find, in a strategy on Instagram, and it's quite hard.
Yeah.
But I think that what we have inside of our hearts, we're going to find a way, as you found the podcast, that it's so amazing and
Hmm.
it can reach so many people. But Instagram has become like a job, like
Yeah.
the students come from Instagram, so I need to be there posting. And but there are some days that I don't want to show up. I just want to
Hmm.
disappear. I would love to be a low profile, but I need Instagram nowadays to work.
Hmm.
And here we are. And as you said, we should do the best we can to help other people. That our abilities can be spread, and that we can reach people who want to be their lives transformed, their lives changed because of English, because of a word, because of a story. And your podcast makes this, because of that, it's possible. People can be inspired, people can listen to us, and wow, I want to study English. I want to go to Canada. So that's what we should do. And I love being here. I
Hmm.
think we should do more podcasts. I'm here. You know that you can count on me
Yeah,
anytime. Just hey Laura, are you ready? Yes, I'll be ready.
yeah.
Except for the last time that my cat has been, run over by a car.
It's all good. But and how is it? How is your cat now? How is he doing? Is she or he? He
Tadinho.
or Edinho, little Eddie.
Uh, yes. And actually, I chose this name because of Big Ed from 90 Day Fiance. I don't know if you've ever seen this reality show.
I
No?
don't think so.
I will send you an episode later on.
All
It's so
right,
fun. But he's totally fine. He's walking, running,
good.
everywhere. Totally fine. Thank God.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. Yeah, guys, we were supposed to record the episode like a couple of weeks ago, I think. And like Laura just shoot me a message saying like my cat like got into an accident, and I said, "Oh, don't worry. Like let's take care of the cat and make sure he's fine, and now he's fine. It's all good. This is all we want to hear, right?" That's great. All right, my friend. It's been like almost 1 hour of conversation, and it's been great. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very happy to see your face again and talking to you.
Yes, I don't even see
And
the time. The time flies here.
yeah, but the thing is, so people know where to find you on Instagram, but we can share that again. And
Yeah.
also, yeah,
Mhm.
so you can share that again, please, like where people can find your work, how they can become your student, or also you have amazing teachers with you, how they can become their students. So what's the best way to find you guys?
Yes, so you can follow us on like at Teacher Laura Alves and at English.superpowers on Instagram. And you can direct us, send a message through this Instagrams, and we'll be so glad to have you here as our students at English Superpowers, because we are ready to develop your superpowers in English
Very,
forever, not in three
very.
months.
Not in
Okay,
3 months, right? So
exactly.
let,
One
let
year.
let's talk about that, Laura. So 3 months, become fluent in 3 months. Why is that a BS? Why?
Because your brain, it takes time, it takes practice, because your brain needs to process every word, so it doesn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And the results we have at English Superpowers, um, our main mission is taking the student to talk in English for 1 hour,
Mm-hmm.
100% in English during 1 hour. This is our mission.
Okay.
We could do that. The average is about 2 years, 2 years and a half. You know,
Okay.
2 years and a half is a good way. Like it's a good time that you can see yourself speaking in English with your
Mm-hmm.
teacher, with your mentor, with help, because we are guiding people. Like
Mm-hmm.
we let the person talk naturally. We have
Mm-hmm.
material, everything online, everything is planned for conversations, even if you are a beginner student.
Mm-hmm.
But the average that we have is about 2 years and a half. We have students who are faster, we have students who are a little bit slower, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah.
The most
Yeah.
important thing is to respect your time.
Mm-hmm.
Only that.
Laura, you said it all. Like respect your time, and the numbers you gave are based on statistics, are based on real people, like real
Mhm.
work. You're not taking this out of nowhere. You're just not saying like, oh, people in average become fluent in 2 years because I think, or
Mhm.
because I that was my journey. I became fluent in 2 years, so everyone will be fluent in 2 years. No,
Mhm.
you're like you have numbers and
Yes,
real people.
and it's something that we plant in our students' minds that hey, you need to be patient, you need to practice, and if you give up, if you give up in 1 year, it's impossible to see some development. So you must be patient and give yourself at least 3 months. 3 months
Hmm.
are going to pass.
Hmm.
So how do you want to go through these 3 years speaking English or not? So
Exactly.
even if it takes 10 years, Alan, 10 years are going to pass, are going to fly.
Hmm.
And the best moment to start learning English is right now.
Oh yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. So I think this is a good way to wrap things up. The best time to study English is right now. Guys, do yourself a favor. Go follow English Superpowers on Instagram. Also, Teacher Laura Alves. Go check it out. So, Laura, again, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. You're always here to support me, and I mean, like I have no words to thank you enough.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. I told you you can count on me anytime. Okay, thank you so much one more time for this invitation, for this amazing conversation. And let's schedule more. You can count on me always. Thank you so much.
All right, let's do it. All right, guys. So, see you guys on the next episode. Talk soon. Bye.